true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Retail price. Eligible subscribers only. Must be 18 plus. Offer ends 9/20/23. Terms apply. Sign up now.
ESPN College Football Primetime.
This game is one of the biggest.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Awesome to be back. Our redemption box is right in front of us. Now, the only time you can register for these tickets, it's a pair of tickets to the Alabama-Tennessee game or the Alabama-LSU game. But the only time you can register is either when we're here every other Thursday or when Tom Abraham is here every other Tuesday. So Tom will be here next Tuesday from noon to 2. You can register then. Now, I realize the Tennessee-LSU game are kind of close to each other, so if your name is not drawn, then your name is going to stay in the box until we pull out another name for the LSU game. So come on by and register for a pair of tickets on what is being called the Redemption Tour, although some are calling this weekend's game Redemption Tour as well for Alabama, Wes, because of how Bama played last year. The penalties, the physicality or lack thereof. How are you, Wes?
Well, they were very up and down in that game. Weren't very consistent on the offensive line. A lot of that had to do with the hat off to Texas. Texas showed up, played, and I think they will again. You better be bringing it. The two inside guys are really, really good. Your technique has to be good, and you got to come off the ball. And I think first game gave me some hope that they'll be able to do that. Their technique was really good on most plays.
Yeah.
Made some mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. I mean, that thing's happening fast out there, and it changes really quick. And you just got to get used to playing next to each other. But with Milroe, the way he played, he looks like he's a lot in better shape than he was last year.
He just looks more confident. He looks more comfortable.
Well, let's see how he looks.
All the above.
Oh, no question. I agree. I agree. He's still about a half second slow. One count, maybe not even a half second. One count. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that he gets to that next level, because if he gets that half a count, he'll be playing on Sundays. The way he throws the ball, if he can get where he can read the defense, he is so fast. I mean, when you watch him, you're like, well, nobody catches him, right?
Nobody wants to catch him.
Well, I think that, anybody that can doesn't really want to.
Yeah.
And he punishes people when they tackle him. He's a big dude. I just think that he has a huge upside. Now, going to be interesting because he'll have to win a game, and it might be this weekend when you get the ball that last possession. And you got to make a play. Will he be able to take the pressure and make the plays in? That's what you don't know.
How long is the leash, you think?
I think it's pretty long.
Like 2 picks in the first half?
I don't think that's like that, Steve. I think it's just so many factors.
I know. I realize that.
It's just not like if he throws 2 picks. What's the score?
Mm-hmm.
Was it his fault? Did he hit him in the hands and it hits the shoulder pads and goes up?
Yeah. Fluky stuff.
Yeah. Does he just missing guys all over the field? Just different things. Is he missing all the checks? That's what you don't know. And that's what Coach Saban was kind of talking about in the postgame. Listen, he did a lot of good things. We like his progression, but he's not. He needs to keep working. The work ethic is the reason of all the quarterbacks, not just Jalen Milroe. They brought in the Buckner. There's no question in my mind. I know that for a fact. They were unsatisfied with the work ethic. And in Coach Saban's mind is this guy has so much upside. But what good does it do if he never meets his potential?
Yeah.
Listen, Ty Simpson, same thing. It's just not him. It's Ty Simpson. And then those guys set an example for the 2 young quarterbacks. And, Lonergan's 4th team, but he's about 1 injury and 2 picks away from playing. Be interesting to see how they handle that going forward.
Coming up on today's program, we're going to talk to Drew DeArmond. He will be with us here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. You get a chance to register for win a pair of tickets to either the 3rd Saturday in October or the Alabama-LSU matchup. Wanted to play a couple other conversations that I didn't get a chance to play for you yesterday. I would have played this yesterday had Eli Drinkowitz answered my question. But Missouri is playing Middle Tennessee State this weekend. So that led to me asking this question to the Missouri head coach.
And I'm down in Alabama, coach, so I can't help. I realize you're prepping for Middle and their first opponent, but did you have any kind of impressions on what you saw out of Alabama in Game 1, Coach?
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to the Alabama opponent. I was really just paying attention to what Middle did, and I thought Middle played aggressive. I mean, opened up the game with a shot play, and defensively really rallied to the ball, and thought they did a nice job. I know the score got out of hand, but I think Middle's a quality opponent.
So that was what I got out of Coach Drinkowitz there about Middle Tennessee. Yeah, they are going up to Missouri. But I did want to pivot over to Lane Kiffin. And it's a big weekend for the Kiffinator as they head down to Nolan's in a former SEC team in what is perceived to be a big matchup in the Southeastern Conference. Because, I mean, let's be frank here. The SEC's 3 biggest matchups, 0-3 this past weekend. So this is a big matchup early on in the Southeastern Conference because of what happened last weekend.
Yeah, and the fact that LSU, a lot of people had them pick the West, and they lost not by field goal, not by missed extra point. They lost by 3 touchdowns, and we're down by 4 touchdowns. So,
yeah.
That's and the way Florida played, horrendous, right?
Yeah,
I didn't watch any of the North Carolina, South Carolina game, but
that's second half. By the way, a tip for anybody out there asking Shane Beamer questions: don't ask him what he likes to put on his hot dog. I did. Because it turned into a thing. I was trying to lighten the mood a little bit after that turned into a whole thing. And it kind of turned into a little mini thing yesterday. I don't mind, ratting on myself. But here's Lane Kiffin talking about the Tulane matchup this weekend.
In particular, about the Tulane quarterback and Michael Pratt and What kind of challenges does he pose to your defense?
He poses a lot of problems because he's super savvy, really smart, very good timing with the ball, and then can move around and get out of trouble. So, this guy's playing as well as anybody in the country over the last 2 years. So this is a very big challenge for us.
Do you think through the film study and through the first handful of practices that your team is focused on what you call an SEC-level opponent, Coach?
I do. We've talked about it extensively, and I'm glad that, they, beat USC last year and the Heisman Trophy winner, because that certainly should help them grab their attention, in the way kids think about nowadays. So hopefully they understand, it's a big-time top 25 opponent.
I wanted to ask about the new rules implemented. It is something that you tell me through game one, how much did it affect you scheme-wise, you think, Coach?
It didn't, with the game, being so out of hand, score-wise. I made the joke yesterday, I just don't understand it. Like, people pay to see, they sit down with the family to watch a game, they pay for tickets to go to a game, and we're going to shorten it. It's not like it was broke, and there are a lot of problems that need to be fixed in the world around college football and running the clock so that a game's quicker. I don't get it. And I said to the staff, you go to a country concert and want to have them sing 2 less songs, or your favorite concert? No. Well, why do you want a game to be shorter? So, to just not really show much awareness about what should be getting worked on and fixed around college football, in my opinion.
He's exactly 100% right. He is 100% right. And I love all these people say, this is 3 minutes shorter, because they have more commercials. That's why they did it.
Yeah.
And it's awful to watch. You watch it, and they're running, LSU scored a touchdown with a minute. They had no chance. These people have had unbelievable comebacks. We had unbelievable comebacks when I was in Alabama. Auburn, unbelievable comebacks. They never are going to happen like that again. You can't do it. Game's going to. You can run. You can run out of bounds with 5 minutes left, and it doesn't matter. It's stupid. Listen, if they want to.
The way he put it, I thought was perfect.
Yeah,
you want to go to a concert and someone perform 2 less songs?
Yeah, it's just college football. Let's keep it college football. Listen, they want to do it the first half, but I think within 5 minutes or even 10 minutes of the fourth quarter, they need to go back to the old rules. Let's have a chance to have these people come back, make plays, and not just have a running clock. That's what it is, a running clock.
Except for the final 2 minutes of the half.
Yeah, well, what does that do? That doesn't do anything. So frustrating. This is the stupidest thing ever. And it does make a difference. It makes a lot of difference for a lot of things. So it just drives me crazy. You run out of bounds, and I saw teams running out of bounds thinking they're stopping the clock. They're not stopping anything. Yeah. So I saw LSU doing it. They ran out of bounds twice thinking they stopped the clock, and it doesn't stop the clock. It should. It should. In the fourth quarter, just change it for the fourth quarter. Where the fourth quarter, that's what they do. That's the most important quarter anyway.
I did reach out to a couple of our Baton Rouge friends. They still have yet to answer my question. My question that I reached out to T-Bob as well as, the afternoon host. I asked them, is Mike Norvell a better coach than Brian Kelly?
Well,
that is the narrative going out there.
Well, okay, so I'm going to say this. Mike Norvell came from Memphis. They won at Memphis when he was there.
That's right.
If I had a choice back way when, I would have picked Mike Norvell over Coach Kelly. But Mike Norvell wasn't available when LSU hired him. I think LSU hired a good coach. They got to give him time, though. LSU had a lot of issues, and they had to change the culture, and it takes time to do that. And their defense is not. There's no easy. You go watch the tape. There's no easy fixes. They can't cover elite receivers. They're going to have a lot of problems with a lot of good teams, and they can get better though. Those guys can get better, but it's not going to be like they're not going to. It's not like I see all these people after 3 days of saying, well, I think they still can win the West. They'll have 2 losses easy.
If they don't get better.
If they can win the West. I think they're going to have 2 losses, period.
They had 4 losses last year.
Yeah, I think they're going to have 2 more is what I'm saying. Easy to SEC schools. There's a guy that said he thought LSU would have 2 losses, and everybody made fun of him on Feinbaum in the month of September, and Ole Miss can easily beat because they're not going to be able to cover Ole Miss. And Ole Miss has guess what? They have a good offensive line. And guess what? They have a good running back. They're going to have to outscore Ole Miss. And can they do it at Ole Miss? I don't know. We're going to find out.
256-576-4977 is the telephone number, 256-576-4977. If you'd like to be a part of the program, I would like to let you know what's going on this weekend. The SEC schedule looks like this. Beginning Saturday morning, this is going to go at 10 a.m. Central Time. I'm just pausing for effect. 10 a.m. Central kick. Vanderbilt at Wake Forest on the ACC network. Then at 11, it's Ball State at Georgia. That is on the SEC network. Just to reiterate, Vandy at Wake Forest is ACC network. I'm not sure if I said ACC or SEC. Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky, that's also an afternoon kick at 2 o'clock on ESPN+. 2:30 kick time on ESPN2 is Ole Miss at Tulane. That is ESPN2. Also at 2:30, Miami playing host to the Aggies of Texas A&M. That's on ABC television. 3 o'clock Central Time is Arkansas and Kent State. That is on the SEC network. Tennessee and Austin Peay at 4 o'clock is on ESPN+. 6 o'clock Central, again, this is all Saturday. Missouri and Middle is on SEC+. Then 6 o'clock, we're all tuning in on ESPN television. And, of course, you're going to listen to the game right here with Texas at Alabama. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe. By the way, Holly Rowe is the guest media member tonight for the Nick Saban show that you'll be able to hear right here.
She was there. She did it last year, too.
She did. Your late kicks on Saturday, Arizona at Mississippi State. That's the SEC Saturday night crew doing that one. Over on ESPNU, it's Florida and McNeese State. ESPN Plus will have LSU and Grambling State. And then really late is South Carolina and Furman. That is over on ESPN Plus. And on ESPN, we get a little Pac-12 after dark with California taking on Auburn for a 9:30 Central Time kick. That's on ESPN. Just wanted to set the table for you so you can plan accordingly for your football viewing pleasure. Wolverine Dan, Big C, hang with us. We're going to take an early break right here. Get to your phone calls next. We got a line open for you at 256-576-4977. We're live here from Baumhauer's Victory Grill.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Score big deals at Baumhauer's this football season and order from our Inflation Bites menu. Try our Buffalo Wing Special with fries and a complimentary beverage for only $9.99. And what's football without a cold beer? Our pitchers of Yingling and Yingling Flight are only $7.99, served all day, 7 days a week. And huddle up, football fans. Sign up today for our free NFL Pick'em contest at Baumhauers.com for weekly prizes. Baumhauers, legendary fun and legendary food.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have the state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So you don't have to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at ChapmanCommercialRealty.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go higher and go Army.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. Tonight begins the National Football League, and you'll be able to hear it right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Check out this from Patrick Mahomes. He has 16 career games with at least 4 touchdown passes. That is tied for most ever by any NFL player in his first 6 seasons, tied with some guy by the name of Dan Marino, who also had 16 games with 4 or more touchdowns in a game. That line, I just brought that line up, as the Lions are the darlings right now, the National Football League. We'll see how that fares tonight, as that line is currently sitting at 4.5. Kansas City 4.5. And by the way, just for the record, Travis Kelce has been ruled out. He is not playing tonight. So Travis Kelce not playing for Kansas City tonight.
That's huge. I thought that he'd play. He's a tough guy, to say the least.
Wolverine Dan is on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. I know who you're rooting for, brother.
Gentlemen, it's hard for Malone to complete a pass when he's on his back, because that's where he's going to be. Hutchinson in the meat missile. You know what I'm talking about. Jack Campbell, 250, 6'5", and he's a monster. He's an Urlacher Butkus wrapped up in one. It's going to be backside on your backside, Mahomie. That's where you're going. Now,
well, there's one guy in particular that I think Bama fans are going to pay a very close attention to, and that is your tailback in Mr. Gibbs.
Gibbs, yep. He's a dual threat. Not to mention the rookie defensive back Branch, right? You got to throw him in the mix, too.
That's right,
But let me tell you what. First off, let me start with this. Wes, and fond memories, and I felt warm all over. Truly, I did. When you mentioned about winning Alabama LSU tickets, I remember when Ginger won several years ago, and she took her dad, Wes, and it was my father.
8 years ago.
8 years ago, my father-in-law.
Yeah, I remember that. That was legit, too.
He didn't do well in cold weather, but he went to the game. He had a ball at that game, and that was the last game my father-in-law saw before he passed away. So thank you, Wes.
And I still have. You gave me the door thing. It was like a door.
Oh, you talking about the parking
Alabama.
pass?
No, it's like a door thing you put on your door with the Alabama thing when he died of his. I still have it. I have it on my door, in my office,
He loved his Crimson Tide. I got to give him that much. But he sure threw it in my face a lot, too, when you guys were championships. But you know what? That's okay. I love my father-in-law. Everybody's got to have a team to root for. And I'm going to say, I'm rooting for those Lions, baby. I placed a bet on these guys 3 months ago. I was in Toledo at the casino. And I asked the guy, I said, because the odds are not paying so well for the Lions, because they're the darling of the NFL. People are
so there's a casino in Toledo.
I wasn't making much on that money. So what I did, I said to him, I want to make some cash on this team. He said, well, then you need to bet straight up, and you got a real good payout. I said, guess what? Straight up, I threw $40 on it, Wes. They're going to outright win this game, because Kansas City's going to go over there with all these rings and the bling-bling. Everybody's getting all jacked up and having a big old time, think they can beat everybody. And it's only going to cheese Detroit off. And, you've seen Detroit play lately with a chip on their shoulder, and they really play tough. And then the tight end for Kansas City is not playing. The point spread went down to 4.5. Wes, I like where I'm at.
Well, so what is your what do you get paid? What's the payout if you so you didn't bet the line, you bet a
straight up.
So is it 3-1 or 2-1 or?
It was really good, but I can't give you the exact number because the ticket's in Michigan right now. It's with my brother-in-law, because he's going to go cash it.
In Ohio, and it's in Michigan.
Yeah, it's in Ohio.
I'm more worried about this.
Hollywood Casino, brother. Anyway.
So your money is in Ohio, is what you're telling us.
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
No, the ticket's in Michigan. It's in Ohio, and he's in Alabama. It sounds like his brother has a no-lose proposition to me.
I trust my brother. I ain't worried about it. It's going to pay up. Tell you what, we could shock the world, Wes, and I can't. And I really think this team is poised. They really showed at the end of the year the way they played Green Bay at their place. Rodgers had to win that game. He did not win that game. And with this preseason, we played a lot of second stringers, not many first stringers. Hutchinson probably didn't even get a snap. He's wound up like a top, Wes. He's going to go crazy.
Well, I look forward to watching it, that's for sure. And it's hard not to like Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. He plays old school football. I like it a lot, okay? And you know what? I'm excited for you guys. That's going to be one hell of a game. You should win that game. But Texas is going to bring some heat. But I think you guys can weather the storm. You got a really big offensive line. But I'm telling you, Wes, that game right there, game day, second game of the year, it's great for both schools. You know, it's great publicity, and it's going to be an awesome game, and I am going to watch that.
All right. Well, always good to hear from you, Dan. Wolverine Dan. By the way, sidebar on that, Aaron Rodgers in the last episode of Hard Knocks. See, this is why I'm not as quick to jump on this with Aaron Rodgers in a Jet uniform. Remember, he went into the darkness and all that. Well, he also had this to say about an encounter. Yes, I said an encounter back in 2005 when he was staying with an old college teammate in New Jersey, of all places. Here is your Jets quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Steve and his brother and I walked outside. We heard the sound and we saw this tremendously large object moving through the sky. It was like a scene out of Independence Day when the ships are coming into the atmosphere and they're creating this like explosion type fire in the sky. We just saw this incredibly large object and froze, as anybody would, because you know what the hell was going on. Eventually it went out of sight and nobody said a word.
Okay. Yeah.
Rodgers also heard something else right after the object went away.
About 30 seconds later, we heard the real recognizable sound of fighter jets going shoo, shoo. It seemed to be chasing this object. And again, we just stood there in just disbelief for another few minutes. Nobody said a word. And then we all kind of looked at each other like, did we just see what we think we just saw? What was that?
So, yes, I'm not buying into the New York Jet hype. I'm just not. And I'm like, I guess you say I'm from Missouri. Show me.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is flaky as hell, to say the least.
Does he need to go back into a dark room?
We'll find out. I mean, listen. The media, the city.
They're anointing them.
But yeah, they're. It's like there's no way they can lose, and I'm like thinking.
This is still the NFL.
Yeah, I'm. And listen, if they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong. It won't be the first time, but I just my radar's up on this. I don't think that. They got Dalvin Cook too. They have some, they've
got some weapons.
Yeah, they have some weapons. And then on defense, they had a good defense last year with their leader is C.J. Mosley.
Yeah.
On defense, and they have a great nose guard. But if they don't win the Super Bowl at this point, they're it's a disappointment. I just don't see them winning the Super Bowl. Am I wrong or right about that? I mean,
it's Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah, they're acting like if they don't go to the Super Bowl, it's
Super Bowl's in Vegas, by the way.
They're I don't know. What are the Vegas odds that they go to the Super Bowl?
Let me look that up. I can tell you the guest picker has been revealed from ESPN, and your guest picker in Tuscaloosa, will he wear a fur coat?
It's Joe Namath.
Joe Namath is your guest picker down in Tuscaloosa.
I just love Joe Willie. He's such a nice guy. He's really down to earth, different than you would ever think he would be.
Someone who knows Joe Willie very well. Big C on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. How are you, Big C?
Doing good. Hey, Steve. Hey, Wes. What's going on? And I don't know how well I know him, but I had fun interviewing him a few years ago, and he was a great interview and a lot of fun to talk to.
Yeah.
You were gracious enough to help line that up for us as well, so we thank you as well.
So he stayed with my grandmother on his recruiting bid.
Really?
Yeah. And my dad and him very, very close. Talked once. I don't want to say once a week, but it was most weeks they talked. They were friends for life, and there's an interview, I guess, when Joe Willie was in the, I think at that time he's living in South Florida, and Miami was playing, Alabama was playing in Miami and was playing Michigan in the
Orange Bowl?
Yeah, in the Orange Bowl.
Is that about 2000, I think?
Yeah, that's when
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was the quarterback,
yeah.
came in, didn't start the game, came in and just but had Joe Namath in the booth, and he was talking about my dad. So they were very close, and he's just a class guy. I mean, and to think of that he was playing on one leg in the NFL while he was doing all that, and could have got a basketball scholarship, could do anything, just a hell of an athlete. And you go back and watch him in college, and it was like him throwing the ball was like, wow, he was really good.
There's some stuff on YouTube that you need to check out of Joe Willie back in college.
He can play. There's no doubt about it. And his first touchdown pass was to an old teammate of your daddy's, Richard Williamson. Did you know him?
Oh, I do. I do Richard very well. I knew all of those guys very, very well. Yeah, Richard Williamson was probably was they were when Mike Shula was hired. There were three guys that were in contention. It was Richard Williamson, Sylvester Croom, and Mike Shula. Those were the three guys, and you know, Richard was a great NFL coach. Was with the Carolina Panthers for a long time, but you know, they thought he was too old to hire at the time, and of course Richard died probably 2010, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
he was a nice guy.
Very, just a class guy, no question.
And got to meet him face to face, and he was from Sandy Ridge, Alabama, which is only 15 miles up the road on Highway 31 from Greenville.
There you go.
Well,
size up this matchup for us, if you could, between Alabama and Texas.
Well, I don't know how well you think their defense has improved over last year. They played.
Who are you talking about, Texas or Alabama?
You know, somebody said that, you know, they've been practicing all summer long for Alabama. I just got to believe with Nick Saban being in big games, he's got more experience than he does. Now, the quarterback situation, he looked good last week. Now, I know it's going to be a different animal this week, but as he plays, the main thing that Alabama needs to do, the one thing that really impressed me, well, they only had 2 penalties. They only have 2 penalties this coming Saturday night against Texas. They'll cover the line and maybe even more than.
Yeah, 2 penalties and no turnovers.
Yeah.
Turnover. Alabama has to win the turnover margin to win this game. To win it and cover. You know, win it and I saw something that they were predicting Alabama win by 13 or 14 points in the whatever that. What is the ESPN deal? They have the
the FPI.
FPI,
the power index.
Power index. So I don't know about all that. I know that that they have playmakers. Their offensive line's a question, and to me, if we can rush the passer, I think we're more. I'll go to say I think we played better defense last week. Sound defense, not letting people get outside of us. 32 and 34, played amazing in the game. Rushing the passer, making sure nobody gets outside of them. The quarterback tried to put that old fake on them. They're very quick. They're very athletic. And I think they have something to improve. Alabama they got out physical last year and still won the game.
Yeah.
And I think that has been told to them for the last 12 months.
Say that again one more time. What did you say, Lynn?
They've been hearing about it for the last 12 months. So it's just going to be yes.
Yeah. I think Alabama will beat them like 24-10 or 24-13 or something, or 14.
See, I think there'll be more points scored. I think it.
Well, last year was 20-19.
I think 31-17, something in there will be there. I think Alabama will score more points. What's going to happen, in my opinion, is that they'll fill each other out. They won't be making it'll be punt. But in the end, I think Alabama's kicking game is really good. Put enough pressure, make them throw the ball, get them, stop the run. They don't have a great running back. They don't have a great the offensive line like they did last year.
Yeah.
They're not as good. They are getting their guard back. That is a player and can make a difference. But, I think Alabama's defensive line is better. I don't think this is the best Alabama defensive line by any means.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that.
One with Tomlinson, Dalvin Tomlinson.
Oh, my goodness, those guys, yeah.
I think Ashawn was on that.
That was an all back alley team.
Yeah.
You want to hate to run into any of those guys in the back alley.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Show you the code and you're on my side, Robinson. So you're okay.
All I know is I wouldn't have played any tricks on that.
He looked like he was 50 when he was in Tuscaloosa.
Easy, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ashawn Robinson was he's an all back alley team. All back forever from any team.
See, we've got some other calls as well. Tell folks what you're doing on Facebook.
We're going to be talking about, we're going to have Terry Clark on tomorrow at 8:30, I think, tomorrow morning, but we'll be talking to him. He knows a lot. He has a lot of inside information. We'll be talking about tomorrow, that game that we're talking about today, tomorrow, and get his prediction on it. And I'm going to have to do a little more studying, but I like your prediction, though, Wes. I think it's pretty good. And I just think Saban has played a lot more bigger games than Sarkisian has. So, anyway, Talking Sports at Big C. Also, we have a page called Alabama Football with Legendary Big C. Big C, Colin McGuire, Local Sports, Irish Wood producer and creator of the page. On Facebook also. We'll be on at 8 o'clock in the morning and join us, and we'll have a lot of fun. We had Jeff Rousey on this morning, and he was a lot of fun.
Jeff Rousey recruited me.
He did a good job. He's a good man.
Oh, yeah. So it was Jeff Rousey and the defensive back coach from Arkansas. We've interviewed him. Oh my goodness, Lewis Campbell.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Big C. He was sitting in the Huntsville High gym, and I come up from the locker room, and he just says one thing. He says, "Listen, if you're not coming, you need to tell us now so I can find a new job."
He got you. You said yes real quick on that.
Yeah, well, I said I would be. I think you're gonna be okay.
Hang on, I got to talk to Coach Dye.
Yeah.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Big C. Earlier in the week, Steve Sarkisian, he had this to say on his quarterback, Quinn Ewers.
I think there's just a level of confidence in Quinn that's different. A year ago, he's making his second career start and probably still learning our offense, quite frankly, and the nuances of our offense. I think there's a level of confidence in him this year around and focused in on, how does he operate plays in the system in a way to help the other guys, and not because he's got a pretty firm grasp of what he's doing. But to me, the biggest thing showed up Saturday was just the maturity, the way he rebounded coming out of halftime after a couple frustrating things. I know the quarterback takes a lot of the brunt of when things aren't just clicking smoothly on offense, but we blew some protections that weren't on him, and he took some unnecessary hits and sacks that weren't on him. We didn't run a couple routes very well, especially on a couple deep balls when you go back and watch the tape, and how we ran them, and then the throw looks errant, but quite frankly, the route wasn't exactly where it was supposed to be either. And so, but that's the life you live as a quarterback, right? You assume the blame, right? And then you give the praise when it's good. And so, but for Quinn, that didn't rattle him. We got back at halftime, we got things kind of rectified, and came out and played a really clean first 3 drives there in the second half. So I think that he's in a good space and ready to go this week.
So let me say this. First of all, Rice is not a bad team like they used to be.
Yeah.
And so I think they're getting a lot of heck for that. Rice is a pretty good football team. Won a lot of games last year, I think.
I don't know that.
I watched them play Louisiana Lafayette, and they beat Louisiana Lafayette last year. And to me, they were the best team Louisiana Lafayette played. Besides, they played one big school.
They were 5-8 last year.
5-8. Yep. Really? 5-8. Yeah. But before that, they were 1 and something.
They lost to Southern Miss in the Lending Tree Bowl.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, they're a better football team than they have been. Now, he's absolutely right. The quarterback doesn't have a shot if there's no protection, or if the receiver, you get protection, all of a sudden the receiver is not where he's supposed to be. And we know that as Alabama fans because that happened a lot to us last year. Poor Bryce. But
Bryce will not be there Saturday.
He will not be there Saturday.
He'll be in Atlanta, by the way.
But I'm going to tell you something.
Taking on the Falcons.
There's going to be some different kind of pressure on that defense. Because Bryce wasn't, he could scramble, no question. And he was looking downfield. This guy can just burn your angles, and he'll take it 70 on you in a New York minute by his feet. And he can throw it. Not as good as Bryce. I'm going to pretend to know he knows the offense as good as Bryce. Not even going to pretend. But this is a different deal. This is a different deal. And the offensive lineman's been talking about how good they could be and how physical they're going to be. This is the game to prove it. Right here. Yeah. This is the game that you'll be remembered by as the first time you had an opportunity to prove how physical you are. And I'm ready to see it.
Let's talk to Mark on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. How are you, Mark?
I am blessed. How about you two?
Doing well, thank you.
Hey, Steve, I got a question for you to give Coach Saban next time. If you don't mind, I'd like to give a little input. Coach Saban, which I've heard him speak, at the Friday, he has little Friday luncheons, and Wes has been there, I'm sure. His definition on leadership is this. He says leadership's about our ability to positively impact and motivate others for their benefit. And he said, he's always said that, and he says if you're not leading, you're manipulating. There's only two kind of players, a leader or a manipulator. So I say that to say, is it true that we are doing tick for tack and we're not allowing the Texas man to come?
They're coming. They're going to be in the upper deck.
Yeah, they're coming.
I think that's exactly where they need to be. I actually was going to put them in the cemetery if it's up to me.
Okay, I don't need to be too serious here, but I believe that, if you say this, then let's do that. I'm Coach Bryant, and you know about Coach Bryant, West, and the great coaches you played for. If they say something, they mean it, right? If you don't mean it, don't say it. And by your actions, determine who you are. So far, we all in agreement?
I'll say this. I don't care where they put the damn band. I'd put them up in the upper deck myself. Now, I'm not going to turn the heat on in their locker room. I'm not going to do that. That's what they did. I'm not going to do all the silliness that the other stuff they did to LSU and Alabama. But if they're going to put my band in upper deck, their band's going up in the upper deck. That has nothing to do with anything. That needs to be, they need to, because next time, by rule,
it's the SEC.
The SEC will make them put
has rules.
They'll make them put the band in the lower deck.
Yeah.
But I mean,
the Longhorn Network's going away for a reason.
Yeah.
I may be in the minority here because the society has gotten to the point to where it's like, well, there are no moral absolutes and there's not any standards. But I just thought, what a message to send that Alabama is better than Texas. We show it on the field when we whip them. We show it in that we don't do like they do. We're not monkey see, monkey do program. And everyone has a opinion, and I just wanted to express mine there.
That's a really long question. I'm not sure I can sneak that in 10 minutes for Coach Saban.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to ask that today. So I get what you're saying in a way, but I think that's so small, and the way they think.
I'm not sure Coach Saban gets asked where the band is going to get put.
I really think he has zero to do with that.
I could be way off base.
But I guarantee if we turned on the heat in the locker room, he would be pissed. I don't think he'd give 2 shoots about where the band is. I really don't think he's worried about it. I think he's more worried about is what that damn quarterback's going to do.
Yeah.
And how they're going to play on defense.
And where's Xavier?
Yeah. So.
I agree. I don't know what level of decision making goes on with bands and all that, but if they're band,
that's athletic director, and his assistants make all those.
Well, Greg
decisions.
Byrne came out with a statement of we're accommodating the band.
So last year our band didn't go because they're going to be in the upper deck. They weren't giving them enough tickets.
Right.
So.
Just a little pet band is all they were going to give us. I think
that's right. Yeah.
I hope they do turn on the heat for the damn band, though.
No. But let me ask a football question. I'll let you go. Here's the thing too. A lot of people are not. I love looking at the box up top. You got our offensive coordinator, and then you got a second head coach, by the way, in Steele. I think he's got all the characteristics of a head coach, and I just love his intensity up there. When the TV would go to him, there's no smiles, no giggles, no frills, and it's all business. I think we saw that. I think we saw that on Saturday. I think we'll see that on this Saturday. So I think a lot of kudos will go to the preparation that this team's getting, and we're already getting the dividends. Would you talk about Coach Steele and his role?
Well, wait a second. We need to take our final timeout. We'll talk about Coach Steele after our final timeout. Come by and register for Alabama, Tennessee, or Alabama LSU tickets. It's the Redemption Tour, and the box is right in front of us.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Score big deals at Baumhauer's this football season and order from our Inflation Bites menu. Try our Buffalo Wing Special with fries and a complimentary beverage for only $9.99. And what's football without a cold beer? Our pitchers of Yingling and Yingling Flight are only $7.99, served all day, 7 days a week. And huddle up, football fans. Sign up today for our free NFL Pick'em contest at Baumhauers.com for weekly prizes. Baumhauers, legendary fun and legendary food.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Corralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Corralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Built to win.
Touchdown, Alabama!
Built for championships.
Throws intercepted Alabama.
Built by Bama.
Alabama is still Alabama.
Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide welcome the Texas Longhorns to Tuscaloosa. Our coverage begins at 3 on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Some of us could see the lower 90s. A couple of different models were trying to bring in an isolated shower through Thursday afternoon. I'm fairly confident we're going to end up staying dry. We drop into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight early into your Friday morning. A mostly to partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. It's going to be a beautiful evening for Friday night football. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Listen to the Bama Recap Show each Sunday morning at 11, presented by Freedom Marine Center on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Well, Wes asked me, here is the current odds on winning the Super Bowl. This would be Super Bowl 58, by the way. Goodness.
I know it, right?
Your odds-on favorite is playing tonight. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. They're at 6-1. That is followed by the Philadelphia Eagles at 8-1. The Buffalo Bills at 9-1. The San Francisco 49ers check in at 10-1. The Bengals at 11-1. The Cowboys at 15-1, and then two teams at 18-1. That would be the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Jets, both at 18-1. The Detroit Lions, by the way, Dan, 22-1. Further down, still scrolling. Wow, they don't even, where are the Falcons? I don't even see the Falcons posted on this list from BetMGM. Wow. I mean, the Bears are 60-1. The Packers are 66-1. Goodness. By the way, let's pivot back over to Kevin Steele and what you saw out of the defense, specifically in Game 1, what Mark asked you, Wes, about Coach Steele.
Oh, well, Coach Steele is obviously one of the most highly respected defense coordinators in the country. He's been at Alabama. This is his third stop. They've won a couple national championships when he's been involved. His roommate was John Chavis at Tennessee. And that's really amazing that two of the best coordinators in Southeastern Conference history were roommates in college. But I think he brings a certain intensity running to the football in a different kind of, you can see they're playing a little different. Maybe not having to think as much on what they're doing and running to the football and being sound on defense. I mean, I used to get so upset about lane integrity, keeping people in their gaps, letting them outside. You know, we saw 32 with an unbelievable play playing an outside shoulder. If you're going to get beat in the inside, not to the outside. That way, that's where all your help is, right? If you get beat to the outside, there's nobody out there. That's how you get big plays. Still were some mistakes. I think you could go watch the film, and Earl Little on the touchdown was out of position. A couple times where I think he was out of position also on a swing pass. He's going to have to play and play better than he did Saturday. You know, he got in there after Malcolm Moore got hurt. He's going to have to play a little better. And Key, who played unbelievable, made a big league. He made an NFL interception. The way he baited the guy into throwing it and knew exactly where it was going. That's just that's an old head out there playing with young guys. Is that what kind of play that is? He's going to be missed if he doesn't play. I'll be really surprised if either of those guys play. I don't think they're out for the year, really. But Alabama will not be at 100% without those guys out there.
Trudy Armand is here with us, but we are right up against our top of the hour break, so it is time for your Sports Center update as we get you set for Hey Coach and the Nick Saban Show, as well as the NFL kicking off tonight as well, and you'll be able to hear the Lions and the Chiefs right here on 97.7 The Zone as soon as we are done hearing from Coach Saban previewing Alabama, Texas. Pregame starts at 3. Don't forget, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m., Freedom Marine Center proudly presents the Bama Recap Show with Trudy Armand and myself. Always look forward to Sundays at 11. Mark your calendars now and join us Sundays at 11 throughout the season. We'll be right back.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Sports
Kevin Winter. Football has already returned tonight. Our long national nightmare is over as it is the return of the NFL. The defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs coming off their third Super Bowl title, second in the last 4 years when they knocked off the Philadelphia Eagles. They'll drop the banner tonight at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium when they take on the Detroit Lions. Kansas City, however, will be without two of its three best players. The one guy they do have is damn good. That's Patrick Mahomes. No Travis Kelce, officially ruled out for tonight's game with a hyperextension of his knee that he suffered on Tuesday. No Chris Jones as he continues his holdout as the defensive tackle. ESPN's Ryan Clark with Freddie and Harry.
You know, you're looking defensively at this team. The run game is going to be different for the Kansas City Chiefs. Being able to put pressure in the middle of the pocket is going to be different. So now if you're David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, you're not as frightened to run in between the tackles. If you're Jared Goff, you know you're going to have a little bit more of an opportunity to step up in the pocket and allow routes to develop.
Ryan Clark, a guest with Freddie and Harry, weekdays now on ESPN Radio, 3 to 7. The line is dropped down to 4. Kansas City a 4-point favorite. Your total sitting at 53.5. Chiefs and the Lions, they'll kick it off at Arrowhead coming up just about an hour and 20 minutes from now. Also coming up in a matter of moments, it is night one, or semifinal number 1 on the women's side at the U.S. Open. 6-seed American teenager Coco Gauff against Karolina Muchova. Madison Keys, an American. She'll take on Arina Sabalenka. That is the nightcap. Major League Baseball tonight. Dodgers and Marlins wrapping up their series in Miami. Scoreless. They're in the top of the second. Seattle's taking a 1-0 lead over Tampa at the Trop. They play in the top of the second inning.
Hey, it's the resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, Giants and Cowboys. I'll tell you what both of my former teams will need to do to win the game. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Neighbors Wealth Management, located online at neighborswealthmanagement.com. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Environmental Comfort Systems brings you our conversations with Trudy Armand. You can check them out online at envcomfort.com or give them a holler to always tune up that system, even when you're kind of in the middle of systems, or middle of seasons rather, going from summer into fall into winter. It's always a good time to get that unit checked out by the folks at Environmental Comfort Systems, where comfort is our middle name. How are you, Jordion?
Good, guys. How are y'all?
Doing real well. A little bit of hype for this one, to say the least. And there is some differences, most notably for Alabama, new OC, new DC. What did you see in game one in those two respects?
Well, I mean, I saw some outstanding, I thought rhythm offensively. Certainly, there's been a lot made about Jalen Milroe not going to his second and third read in the passing game, but when your first read's open, why do you need to? That's my whole point. I mean,
how do they know what his first read was? That's what I want to know. Because I don't think either one of the first read on the tight end, but it was a right read. I mean, that's more important.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was his first read on the too long. Who says stuff like that? Anyway, there are blitzes that were picked up, too, by the offensive line.
Yeah.
So
I thought he threw the deep ball exceptionally well.
Me too.
That's a big key because he didn't do that a year ago. But, again, that just shows improvement. Certainly Texas is going to be a different animal, but I still think Middle Tennessee is a pretty good team, and they dispatched them easily. And they kept Jalen on rhythm. He probably missed 2 or 3 throws, but nobody's perfect. I think he had Malik Benson on a third down one time, but there was also a blitz there that kind of affected the throw, and then he did miss one open throw where they gave him time to Kobe Prentice, and then on one of the zone reads, he probably should have given it to Jace, and then he ended up taking some punishment he didn't need to take, which is got a 15-yard penalty, but it's always dangerous when you get horse collared. But I thought other than that, I mean, he stayed on rhythm. He used his legs when he had to. I will say this: Alabama better get the snaps cleaned up because
yes, you're right about that.
Yeah, like the one with the 21-yard touchdown.
That's not on the quarterback.
Exactly. The one that was just an absolute worm burner that he made something out of nothing. Now, one of them was a little low that he probably should have caught. But, again, they got to clean those up because you don't want to give Texas those kind of opportunities. But if Alabama protects the football and wins the turnover battle in this game, I still think they're going to win. And I think it's whichever team can stop the run and whoever wins the rushing battle, because Sark's going to stay patient. He's going to try to give Ewers a running game to work with. He's not going to put the game on his shoulders. And certainly Alabama wants to, help out Jalen Milroe as much as possible because he's still a young player. But I think overall, a couple of the big keys to me are Alabama controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides and winning the rushing battle. And then the plus-minus, they've got to win the turnover battle because they didn't force enough turnovers a year ago. And then they've got to do a couple other things. They've got to cut out the penalties because they had 15 last year. Had only 2 on Saturday. That's huge. If they cut the penalties out, that's going to be really big. And then they've got to tackle well. And this goes to the point of what Wes made at the end of the hour. They could be having some other guys in the secondary play. Here's one move I would look toward, though. If we don't see the usual star, and that's Malachi Moore playing, I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up being Terrion Arnold moving to star and then Trey Amos moving to the other corner, because I know they're going to give, and they'll probably rotate guys, and they may give Earl Little an opportunity, but Trey Amos is another old head, like that's been around, played in some games, not at Alabama, but he certainly has impressed them in camp. Terrion Arnold is versatile. He can play a lot of different spots. And then I think then you have your top 3 corners on the field, because I think definitely Trey is the third corner. And when you play a team like Texas, they've got 3 really good receivers. They've got, of course, Xavier Worthy, who hurt Alabama last year, and Oregon, thank goodness, is no longer there. He's, the Dan Lanning, and he's with Dan Lanning now, Kyrie Jackson. But then they've got, they also
Mitchell.
They've got A.D. Mitchell from Georgia, who's given Alabama trouble, who's a really good player. And then they've got Jordan Whittington. He made some plays a year ago. And then Jatavian Sanders, the big tight end. So they have weapons. It's probably going to be as good a perimeter weapons as Alabama sees all year. But another point of Wes is I think what I loved is I've come up with this mantra for this defense, and I saw it the first game, and I want to see it in the second game, even though I don't think it'll be to the same degree because Texas is a much better team than Middle Tennessee. But I want to see, cohesion, communication, domination. That's what you saw defensively from Alabama. They were cohesive. There was really good communication on all three levels, and then they dominated. They attacked Middle Tennessee, and they got to attack Texas. They got to take it to them. Texas thinks they're back. They think they're, getting ready for the SEC. Well, Alabama needs to smack them in the face and just basically prove a point like, you're not as good as you think you are. Last year, Alabama was their own worst enemy. A lot of anxiety, a lot of penalties kept Texas in the game, allowed them to have a 19-10 lead late. Well, Alabama needs to, I think, put the pedal to the metal and take control of this game early and put doubt in the minds of the Longhorns, who really, people forget they lost 5 games a year ago. Just like it kind of it needs to go the way Florida State LSU did, because Florida State escaped last year against LSU. Everybody was like ifs and buts or candy and nuts. LSU should have won the game. Well, Florida State said, win this, and smacked them upside their face, the entire second half. And that's what Alabama needs to do to send a message to Texas.
Well, as much as we do talk about Jalen Milroe and his development, tell me what you saw out of the offensive line and the physicality of the offensive line, specifically in the run game. How big is the run game, you think, Saturday? And I'm not going to point out a single running back because Alabama has too many to go through.
Well, and I think some people were kind of overreacting to the running game because they didn't gain 300 or 350 yards against Middle Tennessee. I think Middle Tennessee, they were an 8-win team. They're a pretty good team. And I talked to some people that know football, and a lot of times these teams that are either a group of 5 or even FCS, they come into a game, okay, we're going to take something away, guaranteed. We're going to run blitz all day. We're going to make it difficult on you. And so they try to take something away. But I thought the big thing was, except for like the first running play of the game, which I think was the second play of the scrimmage, they lost 3 yards. After that, I don't think they had a negative rushing yards play the entire game. And when you were second and short, third and short, it was short yardage on the goal line, there weren't negative plays. They were able to score TDs in short yardage, convert third downs, and I thought that was key running the football. And I think that's what's going to be needed on Saturday. I think they might make an explosive run or two if they get Texas tired, but the big thing is, it's kind of like how Sark called plays in 20. Just keep chopping wood. 3 yards, 4 yards, stuff like that.
What I'm looking for is Texas' game plan to be totally different. What Middle Tennessee did was they just say, we're bringing everything. We're going to run blitz. You're not going to run the ball against us. You're going to have to. The quarterback's going to have to beat him. What he did, right? To me, if I'm Texas, I'm rushing 2, 3, dropping 8. I'm gonna make him beat us by his arm, and not let him beat us by his legs and run zone. That's what I'm doing, right? And that'll be different. So, to me, that's what his next progression is going to have to be patient, to hit the underneath routes, right? Because I guarantee you they're not going to let him throw deep after watching what they did on film. So that's going to be the deal for Milroe. Every week he's going to see something different for quite a while until they figure out what he has trouble with.
How about some design quarterback runs? How much of that are we going to see?
Well, we saw it already. I mean, you get in the red zone, he's getting the ball, and he puts a lot of pressure on that defense because the guys he's faking to are really good. And you better be up there. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on him, too, because you're in a zone and you're doing play-action pass off of it. That's how you get big plays, right? Those guys suck up, and then you throw behind them. And so everything has a reaction. Everything that's done has a reaction that you have to take either advantage of, and if you don't, that's when you get in trouble. So the game progression of Milroe, we just saw one game, and what they did, he did a very good job. But now he's going to see something different. I know what I would try this week in the beginning, and that would be on 3rd and 6, I'm dropping everybody. I'm rushing 2 with two spies, right? But they're going to take the short pass away. Those spies are going to be able to take the short pass. away. And I think that's what the Texas will do. That's what I'd do if I was Texas. I'm not going to give the guy one-on-one after watching what he did, what happened last week and the throws he made. Because, listen, those guys could have been in those guys' back pocket. It wouldn't have mattered. Those were perfect throws on the run with very fast receivers. I think with Middle Tennessee, I probably would have done the same thing. They gave them the best chance to win. Alabama picked it all up. And their offensive line deserves a lot of credit. Not perfect, but it needs to be better. But it was a good first game, no doubt. The freshman left tackle has to play better. You go look, he made a lot of mistakes, but it's his first game as a college. I mean, I wouldn't have been there, so it's hard for me to, it took me a year to get it. So my hat's off to him for playing his first game.
We do need to take our one and only timeout. We'll continue our conversation with Jordy Armand live here from Baumhauer's Victory Grill, walking you up to Hey Coach and the Nick Saban Show.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Eli Gold. Coming up next, the Nick Saban Show. But now, back to the drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. Turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl.
Winding things down here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton, and Drew DeArmond here with you, getting ready for Hey Coach and the Nick Saban Show, leading up to the Lions and Chiefs to kick off yet another season here in the National Football League, and you'll be able to hear it right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drew, I don't know if you've heard some of the pundits, but they are starting to lean Bama. It is heavy lean Bama. And what is your feeling heading into this matchup?
Bobby Petrino, Arkansas, which was a lot of ass whippings by Alabama. I mean, I equate it to 2010 when he nearly beat Alabama, and it was 24-20.
That's right. Yep.
And if Mallett doesn't throw a late pick to Robert Lester to set up the go-ahead touchdown, and then one right after that to Dre Kirkpatrick, who, shout out, now is going to have a son on the team next year.
How about that?
Then Alabama probably doesn't escape Fayetteville with that win, but they did. And then the next year, and Arkansas was good under Bobby Petrino. They probably were at their best in the SEC under him. But every time he played Alabama, especially in Tuscaloosa, they got smoked.
The only big talking head, kind of sorta, is still sticking to his guns is Urban Meyer. He's all in on Texas
because he wants the job. But anyway, and then when they flop, he'll just say, "Well, I was wrong, but you should have hired me." So that's exactly what he'll be saying after he failed in the NFL, like Lou Holtz, his mentor, by the way. But but again, I think Alabama's going to win the game. I think they're a little bit better on the line of scrimmage than Texas. I think both offensive lines didn't play great in their first games, but it's the first game. And I think Alabama's played well, though. And I think if Caden Proctor can take that effort, and it was good for a true freshman, and take it to the next level in this next game. And I wouldn't be surprised, too, and I've had people mention this to me, like, I'm sure Rees and both sides didn't show near what they have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama does some two tight end to help Caden Proctor against the rush. And then they can also kind of isolate, a guy like Nyblack on a linebacker for Texas and take advantage of that matchup. I just think when you look at it, that it's gonna come down to who wins the turnover battle. And I think if Alabama can be disruptive and be more assignment sound, and they weren't last year. I mean, like Will Anderson's personal foul led directly to points when they had Texas stopped. I mean, and honestly, Texas didn't move the ball great against Alabama last year. Alabama was their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
So if Alabama's not, and they can, and Kevin Steele, who has seen offenses like this before because he slowed down Joe Burrow, which I think was a better group than this one. I just think Alabama overall can dictate the tempo of this game and the physicality, and I think they can win it. And I think Alabama's got a better kicking game than Texas. I think they got a better punter, better place kicker. I think they've got good returners, especially Kool-Aid in the punt return game. And so I just think overall that could make a difference in a score. And I just like Alabama. It's going to be a good football game, but I think in the fourth quarter, a turnover or two is going to decide it. And I think Alabama's going to cash in opportunities, maybe with a field goal and a late touchdown. And I think they're going to pull away from Texas, and Texas is going to go back and try to win the Big 12 and probably not.
So, Drew, now Texas does have a monkey. The special teams coach is
Pole Assassin.
Yeah. Did you?
Is that going to be a feature on game day, you think, Saturday morning?
I don't think so. But
are we going to get a Pole Assassin feature?
They're totally missing out. And if I was the producer, there would be
me to text Reese and say, when is the Pole Assassin feature?
If the Pole Assassin is not on game day, they're totally missing out. Well, if they're not covering the monkey that died in Tuscaloosa because they left it on the green, they're not doing their job.
Well, somebody should leak that to Pat McAfee because I'm sure he'd make a story.
Somebody needs to text Pat McAfee. Do y'all have his?
I've got his email, but I don't have his cell number.
If the Pole Assassin's not part of the game day show,
This is your true test, Pat.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're really the same person.
No. I mean, they fired Georgia boy because he couldn't talk but anything about Georgia. You know.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So they got Pat McAfee beat him out, and
well, no. Remember, he said Georgia has replaced Bama, and then he's
he
gone.
got replaced by Pat McAfee. I like David Paul.
How about Tulane and Ole Miss? What do you think about that matchup? A very experienced quarterback that Tulane does have.
I got to tell you. So I was looking at the line. I was thinking, man, 7 points. Ole Miss, the way they played last week, ought to be able to beat them by more than 7. Then we talked to the handicapper.
From
Beeson, and he said, okay, top 25 matchups with both teams, and there's a single digit, a home team, either as a underdog or a favorite. You bet the home team, no matter what. If it's a single digit, you win 73% of the time. And that just made me sick at my stomach looking at Ole Miss there with a 7 point. Not saying they're going to lose, but
yeah.
So how do you see that game?
Well, I definitely think that Tulane and Willie Frisk can stay in the game. I mean, they have an outstanding young quarterback in Michael Pratt, who's a dual threat. He had a really efficient game against. And by the way, that was a 10-win South Alabama team from last year that they whacked. By 20 points. And so they already beat USC, so they're certainly not going to be afraid of Ole Miss. And they have them at home, not in the Superdome, home on campus at Tulane. So, I talked to Brett Norsworthy this morning. He's very worried about the game. He definitely thinks this is a Tulane team that's much better than the one they played 2 or 3 years ago. Really, because that one was affected by a hurricane and displaced. This one was not. And they're very talented. They can run the football. They have an outstanding receiver core. And I just think I think Ole Miss is probably going to win the game, and I definitely think you're going to see a heavier workload from Quinshawn Judkins, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I would say more like a 38-31 type game, but Ole Miss will have to hold on for dear life because I think Wild Turkey's going to have a little bit more trouble with Tulane than he did with Mercer.
You think?
Yeah, well, that's because there's not 6 doctors on the. They're not going to hit anybody. Tulane.
Not going to love them down.
You know what? There might be 2 or 3 doctors on Tulane.
Well, yeah, it's Tulane, yeah.
I didn't think about that, right?
I mean, Willie Fritz nearly went to Georgia Tech. He stayed. They were the best group of 5 team in the country last year.
I did want to end with Auburn at Cal. This is another big, important game for the SEC. And the way Cal ran it last week makes me nervous.
It does. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Auburn's going to be able to score, though, on Cal. I mean, Auburn, I think, is held as like a 6.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I think it's going to be closer than that, though. I wouldn't be surprised if it went down to, a McPherson field goal down there late. If you wanted to ask me, I would say somewhere along the lines of a crazy game, like a 37-34 type game. I wouldn't be surprised with Auburn winning and not covering. I'd take Cal in the points.
Yeah.
But I think Auburn can find a way to win, but it's going to be a high-scoring game because I worry about Auburn's front 7 against that Cal Berkeley. The O-line, the interior O-line is experienced for Cal Berkeley. They got 2 transfer tackles, and they've got, one from Montana State, and they've got Montana State's tailback behind, the young guy that, it's probably the bulletin board guy for Auburn, Jaden Hoyt.
Yes.
Yeah, but Jaden had 188 yards last week on like 20 carries, a long touchdown run of 66 yards, 2 TDs overall. Their running game was really good last week, a lot better than the one we saw against that gave a little bit of trouble to Auburn from UMass. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but if you had to ask me, I would take Auburn maybe 37-34.
Well, I think those games are very important. I'm not even going to go Vandy at Wake Forest because Vanderbilt just looks awful to me. But, I mean, here's for hoping. How about that? But those matchups in particular, Ole Miss, Auburn, really need to carry some wood for the SEC this weekend.
Dirt Neck better beat Miami. That's all I'm saying because he's got the much better team. I think they've got more talent. I think they can go on the road and get a win.
How bad will it hurt, though, if they don't? The SEC. If Auburn, you better be undefeated in the SEC championship.
Owen better be shoveling, man. If they lose that one, he better start to shovel.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate